A very warm welcome to the class. I really hope that you guys are doing well. Okay, so we'll continue with our discussion. हमने कल लास्ट क्लास में ये सारी चीजें डिस्कस की थी. डेवलपमेंट ऑफ राइटिंग जो है वो हमें डिस्कस करना था. ठीक है. So I think I have not given you notes for it. So I'll just give you that and then we will move ahead. ठीक है. अच्छा गाइज देखिए, कोई भी जो हम कुछ भी हम करेंगे, ठीक है, सो हम पहले क्या करेंगे ना, हम बेसिक अपना एनसीईआरटी जो है वो कवर करेंगे. उसके बाद अगर हमारे पास कुछ भी एक्स्ट्रा इंफॉर्मेशन है तो वो हम कवर करेंगे. ओके. ऑल्सो आई वॉन्ट यू ऑल कि जितने भी आपके एनसीईआरटी में सोर्सेज दिए हुए हैं, जैसे आप देखोगे कि बहुत सारे बॉक्सेस हैं. ठीक है. उन बॉक्सेस से मैंने नोटिस किया है कि बहुत क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. सो प्लीज बी वेरी थॉरो विद दोस बॉक्सेस एज वेल. ठीक है. चलिए. ओके. सो स्टार्ट ऑफ राइटिंग तो मैंने आपको बता ही दिया था. ओके. So I'll just tell you the process. ठीक है. मैंने वहां पे कैसे ड्रॉ भी कर दिया ताकि याद रहे आपको. ठीक है. ओके. तो ये है गाइस प्रोसेस ऑफ राइटिंग. ठीक है. सो ये मैंने आपको सिंपली बता दिया था. अच्छा, एक और चीज बता देती हूँ कि आई थिंक आई ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू दैट क्यूनिफॉर्म is derived from which word? It is derived from the Latin word which means cunsis. ठीक है. उसको क्यूनसिस कहते हैं which means wedge. all right. Sorry, cuneus कहते हैं which means wedge. And then you have forma which means shaped. ठीक है. चलिए. The next thing we have to discuss is the system of writing which was being followed. Okay. So guys, अगर हम system की बात करें, so what kind of system do you think was there? So the sound of the cuneiform script did not represent a single vowel or a consonant. ठीक है. मतलब देखिए कि एक सिंगल वॉवल या सिंगल कॉन्सोनेंट के लिए नहीं था, but they were mostly syllables. Okay? Syllables थे. Fine. Syllables कह सकते हो या फिर आप ये भी कह सकते हो कि जो मेसोपोटामियन स्क्रिप्ट है, that is actually symbolic in nature. Fine. So was not representing ओके. सिलेबल्स क्या होती हैं गाइस? सिलेबल्स आई एम श्योर यू नो, जैसे कि पुट और ला और इन, ये सब क्या है? ये सब आपके सिलेबल्स हैं. ओके. सो इमेजिन करिए कि एक एक वेज जो है, it is representing your syllables, it is representing your sound words, isn't it? So a Mesopotamian scribe also, अगर हम थोड़ा सा डिटेल में जाए मेसोपोटामियन स्क्रिप्ट के बारे में, so the Mesopotamian script was also symbolic in nature. What do you mean by being symbolic in nature? Symbolic से आपका क्या मतलब है? What do you mean by being symbolic in nature? So let us understand इससे क्या है. देखो, जो भी हमारे आसपास चीजें हैं, for example, it's a water bottle, or if it's a tissue paper, whatever. So whatever is around us, ठीक है, जो हम उसके नाम रखते हैं, when we name it, then what do we use? We simply use our symbols. We simply use our vowels, our letters, isn't it? Whatever names we have, whatever nouns we have, the name is kept how? नाम जो है वो कहाँ से रखा गया है? It has been kept from where? It has been kept from those 26 alphabets that we have in the English language. Okay. Now imagine that you have a symbolic language, which means whatever you encounter in your world, it will have a different symbol altogether. ठीक है? ये पेन है, इसका एक अलग सिंबल होगा. ये फोन है, इसका एक अलग सिंबल होगा. ठीक है? ये वाटर बॉटल है, इसका एक अलग सिंबल होगा. So imagine a scribe, he would have to remember so many signs, isn't it? He would have to learn up to hundreds of signs. Okay? So ओके एक स्क्राइब जो है उसको हंड्रेड्स एंड थाउजेंड्स ऑफ क्या सीखनी होंगी, हंड्रेड्स एंड थाउजेंड्स ऑफ उसको लेटर्स या फिर सॉरी लेटर्स नहीं, सॉरी गाइस, नॉट लेटर्स, hundreds and thousands of signs he will have to remember. He will have to remember those syllables as well. He will have to remember those signs as well, isn't it? And he also has to handle a wet clay. So it means that he has to be so prompt in his work. He has to remember all of the signs, that too on his fingertips, not even fingertips, he would have to remember it on his nail tips so that he is able to write down the signs before the clay dried. ठीक है? So writing was a skilled craft. ठीक है? एक सेकेंड. Writing was definitely a skilled craft. It wasn't something which was available to everyone. या हर कोई उसको कर सके ऐसा जरूरी नहीं था. Fine? Associated with writing is the system of literacy, guys. See, when we're talking about literacy, we have to understand that very few Mesopotamians could actually read and write. Why? We have already seen that you have to learn 100 of signs when you were learning to read and write. This was very complex, fine, and that means it was very difficult for the common people to actually learn to how to read and write. Okay? Now, if there was a king and he could actually read and write, he made sure that everyone would know about it. सबको ये चीजें पता होंगी. He would make sure of that. Fine? So there is this excerpt which is given in the book. NCERT में ही दिया हुआ है. ठीक है? तो मैं उसको रीड कर रही हूँ, उससे आपको पता चलेगा कि how important this was, isn't it? How important this was and how the king would boast about it. So if he knew how to read and write, it was a matter of pride. It was a matter that everyone should know of. Fine? So I'm just going to read it. Okay. So this is a letter from an official would have read out to the king. Okay. So एक official है जो letter पढ़ेगा अपने राजा के लिए. So it would begin with, to my lord A, speak. Does your servant be? I have carried out the work assigned to me. ठीक है? So यहाँ पे क्या है, एक लेटर मिला है हमें. ठीक है? तो लेटर जो है वो एक मास्टर ने अपने दूसरे जो राजा है उसको भेजा है. ठीक है? जो सर्वेंट है, जो दूत है, वो लेटर को पढ़ रहा है. फाइन? Now the letter has actually ended with a mythical poem. What is the poem? Let's read about it. Let verses be held in remembrance, and let the elders teach them. Let the wise one and the scholar discuss them. Let the father repeat them to his sons. Let the ears even of herdsmen be open to them. To what? To the fact that the king can read and write. कि राजा जो है वो पढ़ सकता है, वो लिख सकता है, That is something he wants everyone to know. वो चाहते हैं कि हर किसी को पता चले. Even the herdsmen who are, at one location one day, at another location at another day, even they have to be open to this particular piece of news. ठीक है? चलो. Okay. So guys, अगर हम uses of writing की बात कर रहे हैं, तो what do you think would be the uses of writing? Yes, there were many uses of writing, isn't it? But in your book, the connection between writing, city life and trade is brought out by this long Sumerian poem. And this poem is about Enmarker, who was one of the earliest rulers of the Uruk area. ठीक है, तो इस स्टोरी से आपको पता चलेगा कि एक्चुअली क्या यूजेस है राइटिंग के. ठीक है, व्हाई राइटिंग इज सो इंपॉर्टेंट, वी विल गेट टू नो अबाउट इट फ्रॉम व्हाट, फ्रॉम दिस पोएम. Okay, this is a long Sumerian poem. This is about whom? This is about Enmarker, who was the earliest rulers of Uruk. चलिए, तो हम देखते हैं कि यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है. Now, Enmarker was associated, I'm quoting it from the book, he was associated with organizing the first trade of Sumer. तो Enmarker ने क्या किया है, जो सुमेर एरिया है उसका सबसे पहला जो ट्रेड होगा वो किसने, सॉरी गाइस, तो एनमार्कर किस चीज से एसोसिएटेड है, एनमार्कर इज एसोसिएटेड विद द फर्स्ट ट्रेड ऑफ सुमेर. पहला ट्रेड जो है उन्होंने ऑर्गेनाइज किया था. दिस इज अकॉर्डिंग टू द एपिक, फाइन द पोएम दैट वी आर रीडिंग. So in the early days, the epic says the trade was not known. है ना, trade जो है वो कोई जानता नहीं था. Enmarker, he actually wanted lapis lazuli and some precious metals for the beautification of the city temple, and he had sent his messengers out to get them from the chief of a very distant land called Arata. Okay? तो क्योंकि उनको वो चाहिए था लापिस लजूली वगैरह, तो उन्होंने अपने चीफ को भेजा, सॉरी उन्होंने अपने मैसेंजर को भेजा that you should go and just get it from this chief of a very distant land called Arata. ठीक है? The messenger heeded to the word of the king. तो उसने जो राजा है उसकी बात सुनी कि उनका क्या मैसेज है. ठीक है? So then by night he went by the stars, मतलब stars को follow करके वो जा रहे थे. By day he would be guided by the sun. Okay, he would go up the mountain ranges and he would come down the mountain ranges. Then the people of the Susa, which is a city below the mountains, saluted to him like mice. Okay, तो जब वो ऊपर है, मतलब ये क्या कहने की कोशिश कर, let me explain. तो he is on top of a hill. Okay, and when he looks down at the people of Susa city, he feels कि वो छोटे 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 mice हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि वो इतनी ऊपर से उनको देख रहा है. ठीक है? So he crossed around 5, 6, 7 mountain ranges, है ना, उतने mountain ranges उसने cross किए थे. Why? So that he could reach the distant land. Now, so when the messenger got there, he could not get the chief of Arata to agree to part with lapis lazuli and silver. तो वो अपने जो चीफ है, यानी सॉरी जो चीफ है अराटा का, उनको कन्विंस नहीं कर पाया टू पार्ट विद हिज लैपिस लजूली एक्सेट्रा, एंड ही हैड टू मेक अ लॉन्ग जर्नी बैक. तो वो वापस गया, उसने अपने किंग को इन्फॉर्म किया, किंग ने वापस उसको भेजा, फिर अराटा के चीफ ने मना कर दिया, फिर वो वापस गया. So he was making this long journey back and forth. So he would be carrying treats, threats, promises, etc. Ultimately, the messenger grew so tired that he started speaking things. He grew weary of mouth. मतलब he got the messages mixed up. तो इतने बार ऊपर नीचे ट्रैवल कर रहा है, तो उसके मैसेजेस जो हैं वो सारे क्या हो गए हैं, उसके मैसेजेस जो हैं वो सारे मिक्सअप हो गए हैं. ठीक है? क्या हुआ है? मैसेजेस हैव बीन मिक्स्ड अप. ऑलराइट, तो मैसेजेस मिक्सअप हो गए तो क्या होगा? ऑब्वियसली ट्रेड तो एस्टैब्लिश नहीं हो सकेगा. फाइन. इट इज देन दैट एनमार्कर फॉर्म्ड अ क्ले टैबलेट इन हिज हैंड एंड ही रोट डाउन द वर्ड्स. Okay, this is how writing begins. ठीक है? इसी तरीके से राइटिंग जो है वो शुरू होती है. इट टेल्स यू द इम्पोर्टेंस, द यूसेस ऑफ राइटिंग. So, given the written tablet, the ruler of Arata examined the clay. The spoken words were nails, cuneiform letters. They were wedge shaped, all right. So, hence they were like nails. His face was frowning and he kept looking at the tablet. Okay. Obviously, this should not be taken as the literal truth, but it tells you about the importance of writing. It tells you about how writing started, when it started. Okay. Okay. So, writing was not just used for storing information or sending messages, but it was also seen as a way of superiority in Mesopotamian urban culture. देखा जाए तो वो क्या है, वो क्लेम है कि हाँ हम आपसे सुपीरियर हैं. ठीक है. So that is why we have uses of what? That is why we have uses of writing. ठीक है. जिससे आपको थोड़ा सा समझ में आया होगा. तो इससे हमें क्या समझ में आता है, इससे हमें समझ में आता है कि राइटिंग जो है वो कितनी इंपॉर्टेंट रही है. ठीक है. हाउ इंपॉर्टेंट वॉज इट? इट वॉज नॉट जस्ट यूज फॉर सेंडिंग मैसेजेस और रिसीविंग मैसेजेस और स्टोरिंग इंफॉर्मेशन, बट इट वॉज ऑल्सो सीन एज अ मार्क ऑफ ऑथेंटिसिटी. इट वॉज सीन एज अ मार्क ऑफ सुपीरियोरिटी. ठीक है. चलो. Alright. इसके बाद what we have is we're going to discuss some of the urbanization processes which have taken place in southern Mesopotamia. Before that, I'm giving you 5 minutes. You can, if you want, you can just take this down. फटाफट से कर लीजिए. 8:17 हो रहा है. Should be done by 21. ठीक है. Quickly. Sorry, not 8:17. It's 6:17. Quickly take it down. 2 more minutes. Okay, so I'm sure this is done. चलिए तो अभी आगे बढ़ते हैं and we will not talk about urbanization in Mesopotamia. ठीक है. So guys देखिए हमने पहले ही बोल दिया था कि मेसोपोटामिया में जो urbanization हुई है वो साउथ में हुई है. Why? Because of even though it was a desert, because there was a good deposition of silt which was happening. So that is why we have more coming there. We have more urbanization happening there. ठीक है. So चलो. All right. Now, so it was in 5000 BC or from 5000 BCE, the settlements had begun to develop in southern Mesopotamia. ठीक है. Southern Mesopotamia में settlements जो हैं वो शुरू हो गए थे कब? This had happened somewhere in 5000 BC. Okay. So the earliest cities had emerged fine in some of these settlements. तो जो बहुत पुराने cities जैसे सुमेर है, उरुक है, मारी है, उर है. So these were the cities which had developed and there were various kinds actually. Fine. Those which developed around temples, those which developed around trade centers of trade, those which were imperial cities. ठीक है? So what do we have over here? The first thing we have to discuss is the foundation. ठीक है? So when did this start? ठीक है. सो इसमें ना डिफरेंट डिफरेंट टाइप्स के जो टाउन्स हैं वो आपको देखने को मिलेंगे. ठीक है. हम इसमें दो हैं जो डिस्कस करेंगे विच इज ट्रेड एंड टेम्पल टाउन्स. ओके. सो वी डिस्कसिंग विच वन? वी डिस्कसिंग दी टेम्पल टाउन एंड द ट्रेडिंग टाउन. ठीक है. एक सेकेंड. चलो, तो अब हम क्या डिस्कस कर रहे हैं? we're discussing the temple towns over here. Okay. So, just like any other civilization, Mesopotamia also, the early settlers of Mesopotamia, they began to build and rebuild temples at selected spaces in their villages. तो जहाँ पे भी उनको लगता था, जहाँ पे भी उनको सही लगता था, they would choose a place and they would start building temples. ठीक है? The earliest temples which were built, they were small shrines and they would be made of unbaked bricks. अनबेक्ड का मतलब क्या है? उनको पकाया नहीं गया है, which means the structure is not very sturdy. Okay, so initial shrines, alright, this would be made of what? This would be made of unbaked bricks. ठीक है, तो हम देख रहे हैं गाइस कि बहुत ज्यादा स्टडी स्ट्रक्चर वो नहीं है. ठीक है, now temples were actually residences of various gods. So we have the moon god of Ur, we have Inanna who was the goddess of love and war. All right, so so she was what? She was the goddess of love and war. We also have Dagan. Dagan was the goddess of, sorry, Dagan was the god of grasslands. ठीक है, जब हम मारी के बारे में करेंगे तो अब आपको दगान के बारे में बताऊंगी. Okay, so now, so with time, जैसे जैसे urbanization बढ़ेगी, वैसे वैसे temples जो हैं, they have also become larger with times and they would have several rooms with open courtyards. ठीक है, so they would have what? They would have several rooms with open courtyards. तो पहले जो स्ट्रक्चर्स थे वो बहुत सिंपल हुआ करते थे, बट इवेंचुअली व्हाट यू विल सी इज द स्ट्रक्चर्स आर बिकमिंग इवन मोर कॉम्प्लेक्स in the sense the structures are becoming bigger and better. How? So you have number of rooms, you have several rooms in the temple. You also have an open courtyard, जैसे आंगन होता है तो एक बड़ा सा courtyard जो है वो भी आपको देखने को मिलेगा. ठीक है, now now, one of the most distinctive features of the temples was that the outer walls would be going in and out at regular intervals. Okay, so एक बहुत distinctive feature है. So outer wall ठीक है, so जो outer wall है, जो boundary wall है ना, it would keep going in and out at regular intervals. मतलब so it would be something like this. कुछ इस तरह से जो है वो आपकी बाउंड्री होगी. ठीक है, it would keep going in and out at regular intervals. Fine. अच्छा, तो अब इससे अब ये distinctive structure क्यों है? Because something like this is not found in the houses of the ordinary. मतलब जो ordinary houses हैं वहां पे आपको ऐसी बाउंड्री नहीं देखने को मिलेगी, which becomes what? Which becomes a distinctive feature for the temples itself. ठीक है, all right. Okay. The god was obviously the center, the focus of worship, and many things were offered. For example, फिश, ग्रेन, कर्ड एक्सेट्रा, ठीक है। सो हम बात कर रहे हैं अब किसके बारे में? वी आर नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द गॉड ओवर हियर। सो गॉड क्या है? ऑब्वियसली सेंटर ऑफ वर्शिप है। मेनी थिंग्स आर बीइंग ऑफर्ड टू हिम। सो इट इंक्लूड्स व्हाट? इट इंक्लूड्स ग्रेन, कर्ड, फिश। ओके, सो ऑफरिंग्स में क्या क्या आपको देखने को मिलेगा? यू हैव ग्रेन्स, कर्ड, फिश। ओके, फिश क्यों ऑफर किया जाएगा? इट्स ऑब्वियसली बिकॉज they are a land which is ruled or which is drained by two rivers, so definitely fishes are in abundance and hence they were offered. And how do we know that fishes were offered? तो अगर हम floor को देखेंगे ना, the floors of early temples, they actually have a thick layer of fish bones. So when the floors were excavated, you could see a thick layer of fish bones which have deposited over there. ठीक है? The god was also the theoretical owner of everything, the agricultural lands, the fisheries, the herds of the local communities, etc. तो god जो है वो हर एक चीज ओन भी कर रहे हैं. फाइन, दिस वॉज द बिलीफ ऑफ द कॉमन पीपल. इसको आप रिलीजन के सेंस में भी समझ सकते हो, है ना. हम टाउन्स के सेंस में बात कर रहे हैं, बट यू कैन ऑल्सो अंडरस्टैंड इट इन टर्म्स ऑफ रिलीजन एज वेल. ओके, so what do we get to know? That God was considered as the owner of everything, be it the agricultural fields, the lands, the herds, the fisheries, हर एक चीज. Okay, so okay, so भगवान को क्या मानते हैं? हर चीज का यहाँ पे ओनर माना जाता है. फाइन. In time, the processing of produce, for example, oil pressing, grain grinding, spinning, weaving, etc., was now being done in the temple itself. Can you imagine? So देखिए, इतना strong belief है इन लोगों का कि भगवान क्या है? The God is the owner of everything. He is owning everything that is there. So eventually, what has happened? Eventually, processing of food, organization of production, all of this has now started happening in the temples itself. So all the economic activities have shifted to the temples. So ठीक है. So processing of food, okay, processing of produce, oil pressing, grain grinding, spinning, weaving, etc. ठीक है, they are now done in the temple itself. मतलब temple के अंदर ही ये सारी चीजें हो रही हैं. Fine. Then organizer of production, he would also be working at the temple itself. I'm quoting it from the book. Organizer of production at a level above the household, the employer of merchants, the keeper of written records of distributions, of allotment of grains, plough animals, bread, fish, deer, etc. The temple gradually developed its activities and became the main urban institution. ठीक है. अच्छा, तो यहाँ पे हम क्या देख रहे हैं? क्योंकि भगवान को हर चीज का ओनर माना गया है. ठीक है. So because God is considered as the owner of everything, what is happening is alright. So because God is considered as the owner of everything, हर चीज के वो राजा माने जाते हैं, हर चीज के वो ओनर माने जाते हैं. So now everything related to production, organization of production, keeping records, etc., everything is now shifting to what? Everything is now shifted to the temple. So as I told you, the economic activities, processing of food, fine, organizing production, okay, so production organize करने का मतलब क्या है? So he would be the employer of the merchants, he would also have keeper of written records. मतलब देखिए पूरा जो production organize हो रहा है, पूरा जो trade organize हो रहा है, so trade would involve what? Trade would involve one person growing something, ठीक है? Then there would be one person who would be buying those things from him, ठीक है? Then this person would be involved in exporting these products, ठीक है? जब export करेगा, then obviously he is going to keep a record of things. How much has he exported? To whom has he exported? Has he got anything in return or not? Where has the shipment reached? Isn't it? So the entire organization of production, processing, organizing, keeping records, measurement, etc. Everything, every aspect of economy, every aspect of organization of production and processing of food, they had all shifted to the temples. So you can understand कि temples जो हैं वो कितने important हैं, ठीक है? So eventually what will happen? Temples will become the main urban institution, ठीक है? ठीक है? टेम्पल क्या बन गया है गाइस? टेम्पल जो है वो मेन इंस्टीट्यूशन बन गया है, ठीक है? ओके, so guys देखिए, even though temple have become the main centers of institution, sorry, it has become the main institution, right? मेन अर्बन इंस्टीट्यूशन तो बन गया है, ठीक है? लेकिन इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि जो बाकी फैक्टर्स हैं वो नेगेट हो जाएंगे, ठीक है? There were other factors also which would harm the people. Sometimes they would harm the people, sometimes they would harm the productivity of the land, sometimes it could also harm the in general population as well, ठीक है? तो चलिए हम देखते हैं कि क्या ऐसे प्रॉब्लम्स थे. तो प्रॉब्लम्स जो है उनको हम दो कैटेगरीज में डिवाइड कर सकते हैं. एक है हमारी मैनमेड कैटेगरीज और दूसरी है हमारी नेचुरल कैटेगरीज, ठीक है? So in spite of natural fertility, agriculture was also subjected to a number of hazards. One was, see guys, the Euphrates breaks into what? It breaks into small channels, isn't it? छोटे छोटे channels में break करती है, ठीक है? So when Euphrates is breaking into small channels, don't you think it can also flood? What if there's excess water in Euphrates? Obviously, these small channels would also have excessive water, and sometimes once in a year at least, they would be flooding the crops. Fine. Sometimes they would change their course altogether, leaving the area completely barren. मतलब वहां पे कोई water का, कोई पानी का स्रोत ही नहीं होगा. The area would be completely barren. ठीक है? So don't you think this is a hazard for the people of Mesopotamia? We have a number of archaeological records which actually show that people of Mesopotamia relocated periodically, which shows that yes, there were natural hazards which were present, and it was these natural hazards which forced the people of Mesopotamia to relocate. ठीक है? All right. अच्छा, ये तो हो गई natural issues. इसके अलावा ना कुछ man-made issues भी हैं, ठीक है? Now, those who lived on the upstream of the channels of the river, they would divert so much water into their fields that the villages downstream would be left without water. Let me explain this. Let me explain how this works. So, मान लेते हैं कि ये मेरा रिवर है, ठीक है? और ये किसी चैनल में ब्रेक कर रहा है, ठीक है? दिस इज हाउ द वाटर इज फ्लोइंग, दिस डायरेक्शन. फाइन. सो दिस इज द अपस्ट्रीम, दिस इज द डाउनस्ट्रीम. नाउ टेल मी गाइस, डोंट यू थिंक अपस्ट्रीम विल हैव मोर वाटर ओवर हियर? व्हाई? बिकॉज ऊपर है ना, इट विल हैव मोर वाटर बिकॉज ये इट इज डायरेक्टली बीइंग फेड फ्रॉम द रिवर. फाइन. But as it goes downstream, the water is going to keep on reducing. पानी धीरे धीरे कम हो जाएगा. जैसे आप देखो हरिद्वार में कितना पानी है गंगा का, लेकिन जब वो बनारस आती है, पटना आती है, तो धीरे धीरे पानी जो है वो कम हो जाता है. ठीक है. Sorry guys. Anyway, so what is going to happen over here? Now people who were living here, suppose जिनके यहाँ पे घर हैं, ठीक है, you know what they would do? They would divert a huge amount of water. ठीक है, तो अपने fields में ऐसे यहाँ से बहुत सारा पानी जो है ना वो divert कर लेते थे. ठीक है. Any which ways, when you go downstream, the level of water is going to reduce, and if you have diverted water on the upstream side to the villages which were on the upstream side, the people who were living downstream, they would be left without any water. ठीक है. All right. So the early Mesopotamians, they had repeated conflicts over what? They had repeated conflicts over land and water. ठीक है. तो इनके बीच में आप देखोगे कि काफी ज्यादा झड़पें होती थी. Now, when there was a continuous warfare in the region, the chiefs who were successful in war, they would oblige their followers by distributing the loot. ठीक है. इसको समझते हैं गाइस. देखिए, अब मेसोपोटामियंस जो है ना उनके बीच में अब जो मेसोपोटामियंस हैं उनके ही बीच में लड़ाइयां शुरू हो गई हैं रिगार्डिंग लैंड एंड वाटर. फाइन. So now they would obviously have their chiefs who are going to guide them in this battles of land and water, right? So what would happen? So when there was a warfare going on, and if one party was successful, what is the responsibility of the winning party? What is the responsibility of the chief of the winning party? He has to distribute the loot taken from the other party amongst his people. ठीक है. At the same time, he could also take prisoners from the defeated groups as well. इनको हम prisoners of war कहते हैं आज के टाइम पे. So the defeated side, okay? तो मान लेते हैं कि दो sides हैं A और B. A जो है वो जीत जाते हैं, B जो है वो हार जाते हैं. Then what is going to happen? The soldiers of B could be taken as prisoners of war by the winning party, which is A. ठीक है. So he could take prisoners also from the defeated groups, and they would be employed as guards or as servants, etc. ठीक है. All right. So you have things like this also going on in Mesopotamia. तो ये क्या है? ये man-made issues है. ठीक है. एक तो हो गई हमारी natural issues जो natural calamities है, और ये क्या है? ये man-made issue है. Now this is also going to result in the formation of a different type of town, guys. Let's understand. So what is happening? There's a continuous warfare. ठीक है. So what would the leaders do? What would the chiefs do? They would want the settlement of villagers close to themselves. वो चाहेंगे ना कि villagers जो है वो उनके साथ रहें. क्यों? कभी भी अगर attack होगा, then he would have a ready army. So whenever he was attacked, whenever means whenever he was attacked, because the villagers are staying very close to him, he would have a ready army. He would not have to summon his army. Fine. The people also felt safe when they were living in close proximity to one another. Fine. At Uruk, which was one of the earliest example of temple towns, we find depictions of armed heroes and their victims, and careful archaeological surveys have shown that around 3000, Uruk has grew to an enormous extent of 250 hectares, which was larger than Mohenjo-daro. ठीक है. तो इससे हमें क्या पता चल रहा है गाइस? देखिए, temples तो है ही है एक reason for the development of towns like Uruk, but there are other factors also which are at play which will function in the development of towns like Uruk. And what is that factor? That factor is warfare. Because there was continuous warfare between the Mesopotamians, the king wanted his people to stay, the chief wanted his people to stay nearby so that he would have a ready army. Similarly, जो people हैं, the common people, they also want to stay together because they feel more secure when they're together. ठीक है? So that is one of the reasons, that is another factor which has affected the growth of Uruk. क्योंकि Uruk एक secure place था, तो people would flock to Uruk because they wanted to stay here, and as a result you have the growth of this town, you have the growth of this city, and it has grown to the extent of 250 hectares, which is much larger than what Mohenjo-daro was. ठीक है? Now, there was a major population shift. Means what? So, number of people have now started shifting to Uruk. Okay. Now, Uruk significantly was one of the earliest cities to have a defensive wall, which shows that Uruk was also prepared for what? Uruk was also prepared to deal with this influx of population because they were coming in for what? They were coming in for प्रोटेक्शन, और धीरे धीरे जो शहर है वो एक्सपैंड करता चला गया. सो गाइज यहाँ पे कहने का मतलब ये है कि a city cannot just grow because they are part of what? They are part of religion, or they are part of trade. But there are other factors also which can contribute to the growth of these cities. Okay? Chalo. Okay. All right. Now, the war captives who have been taken as prisoners of war, what would happen to them? तो उनको भी ना पूरा यूज किया जाता था ताकि सिटी की जो है ना वो ग्रोथ हो सके. फाइन. So war captives and the local people, they were put to work in the temples directly or indirectly by the ruler. Uh, so yes, they would be put to work where? They would be put to work in the temples. ठीक है? Now those who were put to work here, they were paid rations. Rations मतलब उनको थोड़ा थोड़ा सामान दिया जाता था. Oil हो गए, grains हो गए, clothes हो गए, etc. ठीक है? So they would be given these things. So they worked on rations. Obviously no salary was given because we did not have the concept of salary at that point of time. So rations would be given. How do we know rations were given? Because hundreds of ration lists have been found, which एक उसमें proper एक list है which has names of these people and what has been given to them in what quantity has also been mentioned कि उनको कितना oil, कितना cloth, कितना grain उनको allot किया गया है. That whole list is present. Fine. So what do we have? We have hundreds of lists which we have found. These are clay tablets only. We found hundreds of these lists, okay, which tells us about, which has the names of the prisoners of war, which has the names of the people who are working in the temples, and alongside the name, you have the mention of exact quantity of the things which are allotted to them, like oil, cloth, etc. जो भी उनको allot किया गया है. ठीक है? All right. Okay. Now, Uruk also has seen some technological advancements. Okay. So, obviously, city grow कर रही है तो कुछ technological advancements तो होगा ही होगा. ठीक है? So Uruk is also participating in trade, guys. ठीक है? Trade में तो participate कर ही रही है. Fine. At the same time, Uruk will see some technological advancement as well. ठीक है? What are these advancements? So bronze tool came to be used for various crafts. All right. They have learned the usage of what? They have learned the usage of bronze tools. ठीक है? Fine. Secondly, what have they learned? The architects have learned to construct brick columns. Fine. ब्रिक कॉलम्स का मतलब क्या होता है, ब्रिक के जो पिलर्स होते हैं ना वो बनाना सीख गए हैं, ठीक है। अब देखिए ब्रिक के पिलर्स बनाना एक्चुअली बहुत मुश्किल है क्योंकि टेढ़ा हो जाता है कभी कभी, ओके, इट कैन go haywire. So initially it was made of wood, but they have learned how to construct brick columns. Okay. Then okay, they've also learned the art of creating colorful mosaic. ठीक है. So what is this mosaic, guys? देखिए. So hundreds of people would be put to work. So here they would be doing what? They would be baking clay cones. Okay. Clay का इस तरह से cones बनाएंगे. ठीक है. Fine. Now these cones would be pushed inside the temple walls. Okay. तो मान लेते हैं कि ये मेरा temple wall है. Fine. और इसके अंदर अब ये temple wall जो है वो हमारा ब्रिक से बना हुआ है. फाइन. सो व्हाट वुड हैपन, जो कोन्स हैं, क्ले कोन्स हैं, आई वुड पुश देम इनसाइड. तो जैसे मान लो कि ये मेरा क्ले कोन है सपोज, what would I do? I would push them inside the wall. Alright. जो वॉल बन रहा है तो ही हम इसको पुश कर देंगे. एंड देन जो इसका थोड़ा सा फ्रंट पोर्शन है जो हल्का सा बाहर की तरफ होगा, दैट वुड बी पेंटेड इन ब्यूटिफुल कलर्स which would give this feeling of what? Which would give this feeling of mosaic. Fine. अगर आपको नहीं पता है कि मोजेक आर्ट क्या होता है, यू कैन ऑल्सो सर्च ऑन गूगल, एक बार सर्च करके देखिएगा. यू वुड सी, आपको देखिएगा, आपको फ्लोरिंग दिखेगी मोजेक आर्ट की, काफी सुंदर लगती है. जस्ट टेक अ लुक एट इट, यू विल सी व्हाट मोजेक आर्ट इज. नाउ now the technological landmark was what? The technological landmark was the potter's wheel. ठीक है. ये क्या है गाइज? ये है आपका टेक्नोलॉजिकल लैंडमार्क. ये हम याद रखेंगे. ये एक लैंडमार्क टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट है which is the potter's wheel, which actually gives rise to urban economy. Fine. In the long run, the wheel is going to enable the potter's workshop to mass produce pottery, which could also be sold to others. पहले वो सिर्फ अपने लिए प्रोड्यूस कर रहे थे, but now he can actually produce it for the masses, which is going to result in the rise of अर्बन इकोनॉमी. ठीक है. अच्छा गाइज, अगर मोजेक नहीं समझ में आए तो मैं दोबारा से समझा देती हूँ. सो मोजेक में हम क्या करते हैं? सो यू बेक क्ले कोन्स, जैसे आइसक्रीम कोन होती है वैसे ही हम क्ले कोन्स बेक करेंगे. ठीक है. द पॉइंटेड एंड ऑफ द कोन विल बी पुश इनसाइड द वॉल, और जो कोन का माउथ होता है, जो राउंड होता है, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी पेंटेड विद ब्यूटिफुल कलर्स. ऑलराइट. So when you look at the wall, you would see these beautiful colors, beautiful different colors onto the walls. ठीक है. So that is known as your mosaic art. ठीक है. All right. So guys, I don't think I'll start with anything new. So I just have 5 minutes. You can just take this down. इसको चाहो तो आप take down कर सकते हो. फिर हम I don't think I'll start with anything new today. उरुक तो हमारा फिनिश हो चुका है. नेक्स्ट क्लास वील बी सीइंग लाइफ इन द सिटी. इसको हम थोड़ा सा ऑब्जर्व करेंगे. आई थिंक आई विल बी एबल टू finish this in the next class and maybe start with the next chapter as well. Just take this down quickly. Alright guys, so I'm sure we are done with this. ठीक है? So chiliye, I think I'll end the session over here and I will see you all tomorrow. Okay? We will continue with our discussion and most probably we'll finish the chapter, start with the next one as well. Okay? Chalo. Alright, thank you so much for joining me over here. It was an absolute pleasure to have you all. And once again guys, I'm telling you that if you have any issues with the teaching method, with the teaching pattern, you will let me know. ठीक है? अगर आपको कोई भी issue है, if you feel कि आपको वैसे नहीं किसी और तरीके से बेहतर समझ में आएगा, let me know. I will definitely help you out with it. I will definitely make those accommodations for you. So if you have any feedback regarding the teaching method, please feel free to let me know. ठीक है? चलिए. All right. See you all. Take care. Bye-bye.